Just being like, oh, fucked it, and now I really need your help. Which is exactly why I'm sharing this story with you, because I know this is going to hit home for some of you guys. Right, this is a little story about a recent client head wobble that basically almost cost him everything. Life threw everything at him. For a moment, he was ready to quit. And here's exactly how I stopped him from throwing away months of progress. Last Monday morning, I got a message from one of my clients. He said, "Morning, Aidan, I think I'm going to have to give you notice and pull out on the plan. I've tried to make it work around the company, but I spent all weekend working on site. I never expected work to absolutely take off in the new year, but until I can get some more lads on, I'm being pulled from pillar to post and trying to be at home with the missus and 2 kids. I'm genuinely finding it very hard to juggle all of it. I definitely want to come back once it settles and can find more time to put aside. I will by all means take on board everything that you've shown me, and I will continue to calorie count and watch what I eat, train when it allows, so I'm not going back into old ways. Apologies again, mate. Completely understand you have a business to run, so I'll pay what you owe by no means. Blah blah blah. All right, and that wasn't really important, but anyway. So I was genuinely shocked when I got this message from my guy. He's been with me since October. He's absolutely smashed it from the beginning. 6 kilos down. Visual changes are definitely on the way. Like his monthly progress pictures, you can definitely see some changes. He's dropping the belly fat, he's losing the chest fat, the love handles, he's starting to rip up, he's building a little bit more muscle, and genuinely he was feeling really, really good. And after our last monthly call, so every single month on my one-to-one program, we get a coaching call. We just catch up on Zoom together for like 30, 45 minutes and just see how the last month went, overlooking the next month. It's just a really good personal time to catch up and plan the month ahead. But he messaged me after that and he said, "This is exactly what I need, mate. I'm 100% committing to you and this program long term, at least a year. I'm loving the direction that I'm going with everything." So that was our call just before Christmas. So as far as I was aware, everything was going great. He was getting results. He was sticking to the program. He was being very consistent. He was seeing changes in the mirror and in the pictures. And he was very happy with the direction that he was going in. He wanted to commit because he knew the importance of support and accountability. He knew the importance of this program long term in transforming your body, making that physical transformation, but not just that, the effect that it has on your lifestyle as well. And how it can be used as a catalyst for other things in life, for your work, for running your company and business, for managing time with your wife and kids and everything like that, and being more disciplined with time management and enjoying social lives more, having more freedom, flexibility, knowing that you're in control. And yet, that message stumbled into my WhatsApp inbox last week. He's not the only bloke to have one of these moments, even if everything seems to be going well. And when you're dealing with running your own business, constantly having shit thrown at you, running a team, madness happening around sites in his case, it can be overwhelming when you've got a lot going on, and I'm sure you can maybe relate to some of these reasons. Which is exactly why I'm sharing this story with you, because I know this is going to hit home for some of you guys. Maybe you've been overwhelmed with all this kind of shit going on in the past and use it as a reason why you had to put off going to the gym, looking after your diet, making that physical transformation that you want to make. Luckily for him, he had me, his coach, who had been supporting him and holding him accountable and making him realise how important support and accountability is in this whole journey. And when this coaching thing matters the most, it's not when everything's going fucking well. It's moments like this, when you're just getting a little bit too overwhelmed, you've got a growing to-do list, and one week where you just feel like you're juggling a little bit too much at work and it just starts to push you over the edge, and your head starts to wobble. Now, without me by his side, this could have been a totally different fucking story. Because that moment then, if he didn't have me to answer to, that would have been it. Even though he said he was probably going to keep everything going, let's be honest, he probably wouldn't have. It was too early in the journey. These habits and everything were still a little bit too fresh. He would have gone back to his old habits. The old habits that were keeping him stuck in the first place, and what caused him to reach out to me in the first place for help to make a big change. So if I wasn't there, he would have just gone back to his old gym. He would have put off going to the gym, he would have let work, family, everything take priority over himself. And as the months went by, it could have been 3 months, 6 months, even 12 months later, he would have been really fucked off with himself and regretted making that decision to stop everything. Gym routine would have been gone. Any meal habits that we would have been built, any positive sort of eating and nutrition habits that would have been thrown out the window. And it would have been a long negative spiral, and he probably would have come back to me, the end of this year in the same situation when he started, if not worse, just being like, oh, fucked it. And now I really need your help. So what was the difference maker because he had me? Well, I sent him a little voice note. Basically, I called him a Wally, which was set the tone, basically took the piss out of him a little bit in a nice, friendly way, and helped him realize that this was just a moment of feeling overwhelmed. And the whole point of what we do on this journey, on my coaching program, helping you to build your workout routine, your nutritional habits, so that we can do it, we can make it work, and we can be flexible around shit like this when this starts to happen. So in the week prior to him messaging me, he'd still done a lot of things right. He'd still been tracking a lot of his food, he'd still been eating really well, his scale weight was still down, so he's still dropping body fat in the last couple of weeks prior to him messaging me. He hadn't really let an awful lot slip. The only thing that he'd let slip was, instead of hitting all 4 workouts that week, he'd only hit 3 the week before and then 2 that week. So because he was missing the occasional gym session around this sort of hectic time, he thought it was the end of the fucking world and everything had to be stopped and put on hold. I just helped him realise, look, you don't have to hit 4 sessions a week. When shit like this is happening, we can work around it. As long as you're hitting at least a push and a pull, 2 workouts in that week, or when shit's hitting the fan and you're having these hectic weeks, as long as you're getting that minimum volume done, you're still doing something. Because calorie and protein targets that we had, we were breaking it down into very simple sort of breakfast, lunch and dinner options so that he could have go-to things that we knew were going to be hitting his calorie and protein targets anyway, regardless of whether he tracked it or not. So all we had to do was just reset his standards a little bit and not feel like you have to do everything fucking perfectly. The whole point of this journey is, yes, some weeks it's not going to go perfectly. You're going to miss a couple of workouts here and there. But as long as you do the non-negotiable bare minimum, which really isn't as much as you think, you're still going to be taking steps forward. So I basically sent him a voicemail a little bit like that, just pretty casual, explaining those things to him and just helping him realize that he was being a bit of a wally and he was still doing so many things right and still taking steps forward despite feeling stressed out. The only differential was that he was just feeling a little bit stressed out and overwhelmed with work, missed a couple of workouts, so he thought it was the end of the world, and his whole perfect plan in his head had gone askew. Anyway, luckily his monthly coaching call was literally the following day. That was very fortunate, and if he didn't have a call that week, if he wasn't booked on for that week, then I would have got him on a call anyway. Because as a decent coach, I do actually give a fuck. I don't pie you off to someone else who just sends you a weekly WhatsApp message. I will get you on a call, even if it's not your call week, to make sure that your head's all right, that we're moving forward and you're okay. And it's that there, for so many blokes, that makes such a huge difference. Having someone in their corner, some dickhead like me, a proper coach who puts them on a structured plan, who can make the little tweaks and adjustments, who can get your head straight and stop it wobbling when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. The thing is, by the next day when we had our call, he'd already felt better, his head was fine, and he'd already come up with, which actually really surprised me, he'd come up with his own little 3-step plan about how he was going to make it work himself. And all he needed was just my reassurance and my validation of his plan and that support to let him know, this is fucking great, well done. But without that on his coaching, without that support, without that accountability, it would have all fell apart. Anyway, I had to share that little story with you, just how important for us blokes are coaching, support, accountability, just being in that kind of network and not trying to do it all yourself and being like the lone wolf, the lone ranger, just how much of a difference it can make on your long-term physical and psychological transformation, self-development as a man. Anyway, hope you found it useful. Maybe you related to it. I've got a free coaching program in the description below if you would like a step-by-step 4-week coaching program that you can follow along, and for me to demonstrate exactly how I coach my one-to-one clients step by step, so you can get sort of a little bit of a preview of how it works. Or if you would like to actually have a proper discussion, a little casual chat about my coaching program, I'll leave a link in the description about that below, and you can book a call. No obligation, zero pressure. That's not how I do things. At least you'll know exactly how my coaching program works then, and you can make an informed decision. Anyway, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll speak to you later.